Well, I think the industry should appreciate that there's a lot of interest in capital that is quite attracted to the space for all the reasons that I think people that here know, right? Which is it's quite steady. It's focused on health and well-being, which is quite important these days. And the trends are just going to continue to support the growth of categories over time. So all of those things make it very, very attractive to people, for people to invest in the space. Well, I think you're going to see deals really across the board. This has been a space that has had very consistent transaction activity. It remains quite fragmented globally. You have a number of companies that are making really strategic decisions around whether they want to stay in the space or exit the space, which has helped a lot of the very large transactions occur over the last 4 years. But then you're seeing a lot of activity really in the middle market and the lower middle market, where you have both independent companies, private equity-backed companies, and or brand divestitures out of the large pharma that are helping drive quite a bit of activity. So I think you're going to see quite a bit of activity consistent with what we've seen in the past. A meaningful part of the consumer healthcare M&A activity is represented by corporate divestitures, so carve-outs out of the large pharma, and increasingly even some of the middle market players that themselves have become quite big. Contributes quite a bit to transaction opportunities. The portfolios have become a bit complex. There are a lot of brands that in their minds today are subscale, so you're seeing even $100 million revenue brands being divested, which was almost unheard of, 5 or 10 years ago. So I think that's going to be a meaningful part going forward. I think the biggest challenge is innovation. The growth profile is very muted, if you will. If you compare OTC to more traditional VMS or nutritionals, or frankly even food as a space, those categories are much more dynamic. You're seeing a lot of new business formation. You're seeing a lot of new brands being launched. Now, the regulatory dimension is quite different, and clearly that creates a hurdle within the OTC space. But that part of the market, those categories are attracting a lot of investment as well, and are frankly just a lot more dynamic. So I think the big challenge for OTC is going to be, how do you find the way to innovate, right? How do you accelerate growth? And frankly, get consumers excited about new products. I think that's kind of the message that we see.